Hello and welcome to the making of the Timelord's props. I'm going to guide you through all the materials and bits and pieces on how we made all of our fantastic Timelord props, including the collars, the skull caps, weapons, rod of Rassilon and many other items. Let's start off with how we made the skull cap. How we originally started off with the skull cap was we bought one online. It was a show cap, and then we filled it with plaster of Paris and then made a mould from that, which then created plaster Paris mould of it. We then took that out of the mould and placed that onto a vac form, which I made out of wood myself. You'll see through the side of the vac form machine is a hose which is connected to a hoover. So the hoover hose will suck all the air out and make the plastic sheeting, which will vac form an identical copy of the skull cap. Now the only way to do this is to have the plastic semi-melted on a special heat lamp, which is this device I made here. You wait for around about 3 minutes until it goes all gloopy. You turn on the vac form machine and you put the plastic onto the suction pad of the vac form, where it then takes its form of shape. When that's gone rock hard, you then remove it and take out the plaster Paris part. That's how we make the skull caps, and of course with lots of this glue, or a glue gun, which then you need lots of beading, which is hundreds of pounds worth of all different types. Now moving on to the Timelord collars, how we made them. Many years ago I made my very first one. What I did was, from that original one which I had, I then made a template all the way around it out of cardboard, which was all cut to the specific shapes and sizes. I then used those cutouts on aluminium sheets. I used 1mm thick. They were 1000 by 1000 millimeters in diameter. I made sure that just one sheet would be able to do the whole lot of the collar. I then marked it out with a marker pen onto the aluminium sheet, which I then cut out with tin snips and jigsaw. And then when you've got all your bits together, neatly put them to one side and then start bending the shape of the Timelord collar. The bottom part, neck bit, and the top section, which goes around your head. And afterwards, when you've carefully riveted it all into position so it all keeps its shape and form, you'll see me posing up with a finished one with protective plastic tubing all the way around. I can tell you it's rather sharp without it. So I started to make quite a few turned into more, and more became more and more. Due to my filming, I wanted to make it look as if there was quite a lot, so I needed a lot. So what I had to do then was make sure that I had at least 3 of every colour of what was used in Doctor Who. I made 3 gold, 2 red, 1 white, 3 purple, 3 brown, 3 orange. Oh yes, and I also made a Runstable. Gotta have a news reporter. And in my story, I had to make quite a few sets and scenery props. We also had to make a loom, which gives Time Lords their regenerations of lives, their cycle of new lives. So I had to reconstruct and create my own version of image of the loom, which is that big structure made out of wood in the corner. I made a few control desks, got lots of high detail of all buttons and screens, which shows you what they're doing to someone's body. And here we have Sophie Aldred, Ambassador of Earth, the High Council. I made a special Timelord collar and hat. I wanted her one to stand out more, so it's as the aluminium look, with the gold symbols on with gold braiding around it. The stays weapons what the guards used in the Citadel were all made by my very good friend Liam Redmond, who makes weaponry, masks, Timelord symbols and many other items which are all used in Johnny Who entertainments. He is a true master of 3D printing. Makes various items for Daleks, Cybermen, you name it, he could probably do it. So if you want to ask him for a certain commission, I'm pretty certain he can help you. If you go on this site here, he does many events and you can get in touch with him on this here. So the Castellan, his costume was made by a special tailor. His collar and skull cap was made by myself, and I gave it a coppery, browny, gold look to it, because I thought give him a little bit more of a difference to the rest of the High Council. Here we have the red Time Lords. Skull cap and collars are looking rather good. The brown collar and skull cap Time Lords. The crazy costume with red underneath. These again was made by myself. Costumes were from Amazon and eBay. The orange Time Lords, the collars and the headdresses were all made by myself. And you'll see on all the colours I've been doing, you've got Chancellor Goth style. You've got the standard version. Guards, their capes and their overalls were from eBay. The helmets were 70s retro classic bike helmets, which we have reformed into Citadel Guards. The overall patterns and that were made by a private tailor. The Lord President. His costume was also specially tailor-made. I originally made this one as my first Time Lord collar and hat, but it didn't really fit the actor, so I made a much bigger and better version of it. This one is much more better looking and fits him perfectly. And now for the purple Time Lords. Same again with the costumes, Amazon and eBay, and the Time Lord collar and cap is what I've made. Got a Cardinal Bruiser style, got Chancellor Bruiser style. We also have Chancellor Bruiser gold neck medallion made out of wood and metal for the chain. Chancellor Fabia, as you can see, her costume is rather different from the others. That was specially tailor-made as well. Time Lord collar and hat are ash gold to make it look a bit more older and weathered. And here we have Grand Inquisitor, which was used in Trial of the Rani. His collar and hat is also got the gold ash old coloured look to it. The costume, however, has a bit of history which was actually used in Trial of Davros. It's nice to have it on another trial. Our news reporter for Citadel News, Runcible. His hat was made by myself and his costume was made by a tailor. Here we have the Rod of Rassilon, which I made myself, made out of a metal rod with a cricket ball at the end and some door buffers detailed with silver tape and black paint. Davros joined the academy. Well, here's his chair for a start of what he would have had. How about a Dalek joining the academy? Here is some preview photos of the Trial of the Rani. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe and see more of my videos, and thank you for watching.